my hand through the flame. I torture you. I'm a slave to your game. I wanna chain you up. I wanna tie you down. I'm just a sucker for pain.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the very first episode of Because Ray's Car. Today I'm going to be working on poison ivy. I'm probably just going to be doing a little bit of weight reduction today. Can't really do a whole lot of other things because I don't have parts. I really want to get a whole set. I've been dying to get a whole set. I've been dying to get the car done. But I need turbo. And I had a 16G on this thing. But I had it on for way longer than I ever intended to have it on. I wanted to get a whole set when I first built this thing, but I wanted to get it up and running and driving on the Evo 3 16G, get all the bugs worked out and stuff before I even thought about getting a whole set. And then ended up racing dirt cars again last year and didn't have much time to do anything. But this year it's gonna happen. But in the meantime, I'm going to start working on some other things, like weight reduction and just any little dumb thing that I can find that I can do while I'm waiting. Now, I don't have a whole lot of time because I'm racing dirt cars again this year, and I'm racing the dirt modifieds, which is a lot more maintenance and they're a lot more time consuming than the pure stocks that I ran last year. So it's going to be rough, but you know, I'm dying to get this thing done. I'm tired of not being able to drive it. I miss it. It was such an animal on a little 16G, so I can't imagine what it's going to be like in the whole set. But also I apologize for my girly looking sunglasses. These are my daughter's. I actually couldn't find mine and I can't stand the sun, so I might look a little bit goofy. I can't really tell. But anyway, I'm going to show you the car. I'm going to flip the camera around. Here's the engine bay. Alright, as you can see, the turbo, the manifold, transmission, intercooler piping, intake pipe, shit like that's all off. It's all in the house. Throttle body, I used to have a 2G throttle body on that, surprisingly. And when I got Charlotte, it had some throttle body issues, so I just changed the entire throttle body over. And it had a FIAV delete. So that's on her. I'll be getting at least a 1G turbo throttle body. Maybe I'll end up finding a 1G non-turbo throttle body or something like that. They're a little bigger. But yeah, that's the engine. It's a 6-bolt. I just rebuilt it not too long ago. It was in Virgin Mary for a while. And I rebuilt it and put it together when I dropped it in her. And then after the accident, it came back out of Mary and it came into Ivy. So I thought about taking it out and rebuilding it again, but I already got another 6-bolt short block in the house on the engine stand. So if I'm going to build anything, I'm going to build that one first anyway. But it's got the VRSF front mount intercooler on it. Now these brackets here, they always break. They're so flimsy, and just from, like, you know, it's just like a soda can. You bend a soda can enough times, it'll split in two. It's kind of the same philosophy with this. This is the second time it's broke. I kind of nigger rigged it up there a little bit to put it back in place, and then this side broke again. That side is still fine from the last time that I fixed it. But I want to try and do something a little different here, because there's a pain in the ass having to take the bumper off and fuck with that shit all the time. This is my oil cooler, STM oil cooler, stainless steel braided lines with AN fittings. I'm using a 90 oil filter housing, as you can see. I got some solid motor mounts. Those are Avid solid motor mounts. They are a bitch to put in, but after enough fucking around with it, you kind of get the gist of how they go in and what you need to do to get them in. You got to move the motor around and shit. These bolts here, when you basically what I do is I put all the mounts on and I don't tighten them up. And that allows me to move the motor around just a tiny bit, enough to allow me to get everything where it needs to be. But yeah, I got a air motor, fuel pressure regulator, coil packs up in the firewall, some shitty ass catch cans that I need to upgrade. I don't think they even really do much, but this is the front of the car, the engine bay. There's a push button start in the engine bay, so that way I can turn the engine over if I'm trying to find top dead center, or if I'm using one of the old compression testers where you gotta turn it by hand, or turn the engine over while holding the compression tester in the cylinder with your hand, or whatever. So I'm just trying to line up timing marks. It's nice to have a push button inside the engine bay so I can be right here. A little trick that we use on our dirt race cars, so I don't have to climb in all the time every time we need to start it. That way we can, if it won't idle on its own, you can start it from the engine bay and still have your hand on the throttle body to keep it running, which is nice in first startups, because obviously they never want to seem to stay running on their own. But a little quick walk around here. Get some 18s on it still. Pretty decent wheels. I'm going to be focusing a lot of time in the back here. All these bracket pieces, like the one that goes from here to here, or these ones especially, I mean, they're not really serving any purpose at this point. So I'm going to bang the spot welds out and try and remove them. I wanted to do something like that with the backs around, like for the seat belts and stuff that are on the strut towers back here. See if I can get a lot of this shit out. And also I want to cut this hump out for the spare tire. And when I first started thinking about that, I started thinking about maybe putting a fuel cell back here. So now I'm kind of thinking about cutting the entire floor out of the trunk area, the hatch area, and dropping the tank and mounting a nice fuel cell back there. Get an external Bravo 255 or something for now. Should be sufficient for what I need with the whole set. And if not, I mean, it's easy upgrade, or easy, easy to replace. External fuel pump, obviously. So these back seats are coming out. Seat belts, everything are coming out. Carpet's coming out. Probably most of these plastics on the sides here are coming out. I'm gonna basically be gutting this because now I got a good daily right there. Old Charlotte. But girlfriend's home, so I'm gonna talk to her for a minute, and but I'll make some more videos here and show you guys some more. What?
I didn't know how you liked it, so I'm gonna take it inside.
Alright, I'll be in a minute.
Alright. I forgot. It took too long.
Yeah. half decent Miata. It's not boosted though, unfortunately. Should be another bolt here. Should be something. Yeah, 10 millimeter. Back there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Nice day, so all the racers are out fucking around. They're fucking race, guys.
He's talking to you.
Alright, I'm getting ready to take my seat out. Passenger seat. But before I take that out, I want to show you guys a couple things. Alright. See, there's a lot of shit going on down there, but it all serves a purpose. This is the distribution block for my battery relocation kit. My battery's in the hatch. This is my OBD2 connector for my ECU and everything. I'm running an Evo ECU in this, and using ECU flash, of course. But fuse box is down there. I did a full wire tuck and bring that in here, and then my ECU is down in here. I have a nice little access panel to get to it, because I didn't want that laying down on the floor. There was already too much shit down there. So figured I would make a little hatch and put it up underneath there. It's a lot easier to get to versus putting it down here behind this panel. Bunch of toggle switches. I have push button start inside, obviously. 2 different fans. I have a half radiator, so I wanted to make sure that I had plenty enough fan. And fan 1 is actually a stock fan mounted on the front or on the back of the radiator as a puller, and that's all I really need. But just in case, if I do need a second fan, which is a slim fan on the front of the radiator as a pusher, I can kick that fan on. I've never really needed to, but yeah. So Harman in-cabin boost controller. It's definitely a handy little device. Never used to like them, or I used to always brag on people every time I seen somebody that had one. It's like they're too lazy to pull over and pop their hood. But I tell you what, it's a lot easier, definitely more convenient. Got some gauges up here: oil temp, oil pressure, and water temp. And of course my wide band and boost over there. But alright, I'm gonna start ripping these seats out so I can get the carpet out and see what else I can take out. Alright, so I got the front seats out and the back seat out. Working on the carpet right now. The passenger side's all free and ready to come out. I gotta take care of some plastic pieces so I can get the rest of it out on the driver's side. But it's coming along. I found a couple things that I could probably remove to get rid of some weight that aren't really necessary. One more thing I want to show you guys. I don't know if you can see it really well, but see that like oil cooler looking thing? That's actually what the hell are they called? It's like, it's an overflow kind of. It's for a heater core, I mean. You get them at the parts store or Universal. But what I did was, since I deleted the heat out of this car, I ended up driving this thing a lot more than I wanted last year because my daily broke. I had a Subaru Legacy Outback, and when that went down, I just started dailying poison ivy. And towards the end of the year, it was getting cold, and I go out for work, or go out to the parking lot for my lunch break and smoke a cigarette, and I froze my ass off. So what the hell is going on? Must be a fire. So what I did was, again, I implemented something that we used on our dirt cars at one point. Bought this heater core, and I ran it to the water pipe thermostat housing area where the original heater hoses would run to. And anyway, the hot coolant would run through the hoses into the heater core and put off a little bit of heat. And it definitely wasn't worth it. It didn't work nearly as good as I hoped it would. But I mean, it was cold when I was driving this. If it was just a little chilly out, I'm sure it made a big difference. And it did help my windshield as far as like defogging it. That was it really helped with that, but it didn't really seem to make it much warmer in the car. But anyway, I thought it was worth showing you guys. Alright, so I got the carpet out. God damn, it's hot out here for a change. Floor looks pretty clean. I found one of my old cigarette clips that I lost at some point. When I smoke, I usually put my cigarette out halfway through and then light it up again, so I save the clips. And apparently I lost this one, but probably not going to taste very good now, so I'm not even going to try and smoke it. But yeah, the carpet's out finally. I'm going to take these things out. Like, obviously that's not going to weigh that much, but every little bit does add up, and people have proven that time and time again. Here's a little thing from toggle switch. I remember losing this bastard like almost a year ago. Now I found it. The sound deadener, I'm gonna definitely try and take that off. I don't really want to use dry ice. I don't want to have to spend money to fucking take this shit off, but at the same time, I don't want to be sitting here for fucking hours peeling little bits and pieces off. Some of it's already coming up. I'm pretty sure that you can just use a what they called one of those impact hammer things, air hammer. I'm pretty sure you can take that and just smack it around and it'll all break up like this. It's pretty nasty over here. My sunroof leaked, so it got wet in here quite a bit. This stuff's coming off really nice, actually. Makes things a little easier for me. Take this out. That. But yeah, all the sound deadener, what I can get to. I'm not going to rip the whole car apart just to get it all out, but another piece of carpet, the sound deadener, firewall, sound deadener or something. I'll have to cut that out. But look at all that wiring. That's all, I believe, all this wiring is for the goddamn seatbelts. So, I mean, there's quite a lot of savings in weight just in the wiring alone. Here you can see the these big heavy brackets and stuff, and everything there. Yeah, I never noticed that was there.